He who has a strong enough why can bear almost any how. That's Friedrich Nietzsche, that. Twilight of the Idols. When we've discovered our why in life, that means that you know the reason for being. It's an important philosophical step forward. If you don't have a why for being, then it's very, very hard to get anything done. But if you have a reason, whatever the reason is, if it's strong enough, then you can get on with things. Now, the key principle to this psychologically is leverage. If you have a strong enough reason, which is the answer to the why question, theoretically, in paper terms, you will do anything, or at least you'll attempt to do anything. If you don't have a strong enough reason, you won't attempt to do anything at all. So if you know why you're doing something, what you're doing is you're hacking into the motivation system of what a human being runs from. We run from objectives. We run from leverage. We're always moving towards pleasure and away from pain. So if you have a reason to do something, it will be done, or you will at least attempt to do it. If you have no reason to do something, or a weak or a flaccid reason to do something, it just doesn't get done. If you found your why in life, if you found the reason to be, the reason to do, you've achieved a lot. So you say, okay, what is my reason for being, my reason for doing in life? And maybe you got that answer from spirituality or philosophy. These are essential questions, by the way, to answer, like, why am I here? What is the purpose of life? How should a person live? What is my reason for being? When you've got that reason for being, you should then be able to derive some kind of strategy from that. But the strategy, as with any strategy developed in life, will always come back to the objective. So if you say, my reason for being, maybe you're Buddhist, let's say, my reason for being is to reduce my suffering through detaching from the world of Maya, of the illusion of form. I'm going to detach from form. I'm going to detach from craving, from desire. I'm going to reduce my suffering. I'll engage in right thought, right word, right deed. I will, follow the discipline. They call it the Eightfold Path. And I will seek to reduce the suffering of others as well. Then you have your why, and your objective becomes nothing less than the reduction of suffering and the detachment from the illusion of the world. So that would then become the objective that you would work towards. Let's say, we'll just say detachment. And the strategy is laid out in Buddhism pretty clearly as to what you do to detach from illusion. If you said, my purpose on earth is to spread the word of Jesus and glorify God, then you would have an objective, you would have a strategy. If you were a Gnostic and you said, I need to transcend the evil material world of Yaldabaoth, the demiurge craftsman, to attain to the higher state of gnosis, to know the true God of the real world, so on and so forth. It's kind of hard to answer these questions in a non-spiritual or non-philosophical way, I think. I wouldn't know how to. So if somebody said, well, what is my reason for being? So they take a Western mechanistic view. I exist in a godless world to reproduce, to further my DNA, to create an environment in which there can be more of me perpetually through future realities. Okay. My purpose of life, my why is to consume, to enjoy, to experience pleasure, to eat food, to have sex, to take 5-star holidays, to post about those holidays and the food and the sex on Instagram, to make other people jealous. That's my pleasure. That's how I experience jouissance. I make other people envious of my life, and then I have an excess of pleasure, self-indulgence in that way. Okay, so the reason why is critical. It's absolutely critical. If the reasoning is extremely materialistic, then the strategies, the objectives, of course, are materialistic, and the strategies are materialistic. If they are transcendent, then the strategies and the objectives become transcendent. Just in terms of suffering, which of these would you imagine would create the most amount of pain in your life and other people's lives? A very materialistic why, a very mechanistic why, which is we're just here. You know, you get your 85 years, you have kids, you know, you enjoy a few holidays, you drink some alcohol, take some drugs, eat some food, have some sex. That's one way of looking at life, and it would generate a certain set of commensurate values and behaviors and an attitude towards life, a character towards life. And then there's the more transcendent, which presumably would involve less suffering, or one would hope it would create less suffering, because you don't see that the main purpose of life is just that. So figuring out the why is very important. I can't really help you to do that because this is so deeply personal. It's such a religious, spiritual, philosophical question. But what I would encourage you to do is to try to answer it. Try to figure out what your purpose is. Try to figure out what your purpose in life is. Once you've done that, then you can start moving into the strategy. You've defined the objectives, then you define the strategies to help you fulfill whatever that reasoning is. If you have a strong enough reason, you will attempt to do anything. If you have that leverage there, if you say, I'm going to try to set up a business, I'm going to try to climb this mountain, I'm going to try to swim this channel, because if I don't, it is painful for me and for my community. And if I do, it will be rewarding, pleasurable for me and for my tribe. This is considered good leverage. This directly taps in to the most primal parts of the human reward system. Understanding this is key if you want to understand motivation. Understanding this is key if you want to understand depression and anxiety, because many times people who have depression and anxiety, they've fallen foul of this model. They don't have a good why. They either don't have any reason at all to live. They've never had the conversation. They've never considered spiritually or philosophically why they exist. And they either don't have a reason, or they'll be given a reason by our culture, our wonderful, wonderful, kind, transcendent and wise culture that has existed in its current form for about 2 or 3 minutes, and is predominantly there to sell you cheaply produced shite from third world countries that you don't need, so that you can use it and then throw it into the ocean and strangle a turtle with. So that's the materialistic modality. You are a thing and you need things. You are a thing and you consume things. You are a thing, and because all things pass, because all things are finite, you will rot, you will pass, and it will all become dust and it will all become meaningless. That's the materialistic worldview. In the transcendent worldview, there is meaning beyond things. Things are incidental. The world of forms. In the transcendent worldview of the Vedic traditions, Hinduism, Buddhism, which is some of the oldest religious traditions that we have surviving in the world today, possibly as old as 8,000 years old, form is clearly identified very early on as just being meaningless or almost meaningless. Form comes, form goes. It's maya. The Sanskrit word is maya. It's illusory. It's momentary. It's temporary. It's temporal. Tempo meaning time. It's trapped in time. Everything that is materialistic is defined by time and timelines and tempo, temporality. That which is transcendent is directly related to the infinite. It never dies because it was never born. And there's no time, there's no axis, there's no y-axis of time that we relate everything against when it's transcendent. For it to be transcendent, it must have transcended time. And by transcending time, it's transcended space. and becomes infinite. So if you take a Y from this camp, you're immediately connecting your life to something that is infinite, that is meaningful, cannot be destroyed, cannot be created, and cannot be taken from you. It's a very freeing way of viewing the world. And as far as, you know, this channel is predominantly about mental health rather than philosophy or spirituality, mental health issues seen against this model take on a different, it doesn't cure them, but it takes on a different perspective, a different shading, a different color. You start to go, oh, okay, well, somebody's really anxious and depressed, and I'm not going to ask whether their why is materialistic or transcendent. Maybe this, if someone's really anxious, maybe this would help. Okay, that's it for this video. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for your time, your infinite, transcendent time, and for your attention, which is a magical element that you have in your life that you could direct in different places to create new effects. I look forward to speaking to you again soon. Cheers. Okay, folks, the new course, Unplug from the Matrix of Narcissistic Abuse, is out now. And if you're interested in finding out more about that, please click the link below.